Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services in Eastland, Texas. Tune in every week as we share important information to help you and your family live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, legacy and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Here we are for another episode of Black and White Market Chatter on Life Planning 101. Matt Ervin, Aaron Kennedy here on another Friday. Aaron, we should change the title of another episode of Stay the Course, Be Patient with the Market, right? We're having kind of a heck of a week.
Yes, and I'm really tired of saying the same thing over and over again. This has been a long year. Very long year. This week was pretty tough. You know, our inflation numbers came in at 8.3, which is quite a bit higher than what people were anticipated. They were really thinking that prices or inflation was going to be coming down. You know, you go look at the gas pump, and there's been some serious moves there in the price of gas. You know, but if you look at the neon sign at those gas stations, you can still see diesel still around $5 a gallon. And, you know, every single thing that's trucked into the grocery store, into Walmart, into your local hardware store, doesn't matter where it is, everybody's getting their supplies from these big diesel trucks. So the cost to transport goods has not really moved yet, and inflation is staying up there. You know, one of the big movers was food. Food's expensive. It's getting more expensive. And we've kind of touched about this last week. You know, the U.S. isn't going to fix inflation all by itself. We're net importers. Almost everything that you look at is going to say made in China, made in Taiwan, something to that effect. So we're importing inflation very quickly. This problem needs to be addressed globally. We're all going to get relief together, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And nonetheless, there's a lot going on in the news, and some good and some not so good. We have the Queen and the celebration of her life overseas. So it's a little bit of a distraction from some of the economic news, but nonetheless, the natural gas, we talk about that a lot, but that's still hitting people in the pocketbook. And met with some folks this week, and it was actually kind of interesting. You mentioned food a few minutes ago. This particular couple does a great job at budgeting and keeping a monthly up-to-date budget, and their food costs doubled and for the last couple of months. And there's just two of them. And it was crazy to me, the amount of money that they weren't spending anything different, same goods. And so that's where those substitutes start to come in.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, we're all feeling that. I haven't seen people put the pencil to it. I know what I'm spending.
Right.
But, I attribute that to a 16-year-old boy.
Yeah, that's right.
But we all see the prices going up. We try to throw in some good news. Right now it's sitting around 4 to 4.25%. So we can actually get a little bit of return on cash. That's very welcomed. I've been buying treasuries for 3.96 this morning. So we're getting up there. We're going to get another interest rate increase end of this month. So more than likely it's going to be 7.75. So that's good. And was it me and you talking that good news is bad news and bad news is good news and all that good stuff?
Yeah, about every day, Aaron. I mean, it seems like that's what the radio
every
says.
day.
Every day.
Hey, here, I got some bad news that's fantastic. FedEx, their anticipated earnings for next quarter has been dropped. You know, their financial numbers weren't as good as anticipated, and that stock is correcting 20%.
Yeah, I saw that.
Why is this horrible news good news? The consumer has been extremely strong. So if we start seeing companies like FedEx, like Amazon, these kind of consumer-driven companies start to come down, that means what the Fed is doing is working. They are drastically slowing our economy. So the faster that they can slow this, in their mind, inflation's going to correct, and we're getting that much closer to the bottom. And that's really where we need to see it. We need to see the consumer weaken, and we all feel it. We all feel it. But where can we see it? We can see it in the FedEx numbers. We can see it in Amazon's numbers. We can see it in Walmart's numbers. This is where it needs to start creeping in. And then we need to start seeing it creep in and into employment. And once unemployment starts to increase, that is the bad news. That will be good news.
That's right.
That'll rotate. So, we're getting one step closer.
Yeah.
What an Alice in Wonderland world we live in.
Yeah, upside down. But hey, those interest rates, those sound pretty decent for folks. And I just want to encourage people too, if there's anything, if you have any cash on the sidelines, this is the time to get a little bit of yield. Not the time to jump off the deep end and say this is the end of it. It's just the time to get paid to wait. We've been talking about it and it's here. So Aaron, we're getting wrapped up here on time. Is there any last minute comments or things you want to share?
No, not at this point. We're always here for you. If you ever want to call and chat, anything on your mind, holler at us and we can walk through it.
We appreciate you guys so much. Again, Matt Ervin, Aaron Kennedy, Black and White Market Minute on Life Planning 101. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services. If you have questions, you can email them to lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. Be sure to tune in next week for more Life Planning 101. The opinions expressed herein are those of the firm and are subject to change without notice. The opinions referenced are as of the date of publication and are subject to change due to changes in the market or economic conditions and may not necessarily come to pass. Any opinions, projections, or forward-looking statements expressed herein are solely those of the author, may differ from the views or opinions expressed by other areas of the firm, and are only for general informational purposes as of the date indicated. Securities offered through Calton and Associates Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Smart Money Group LLC. Kennedy Financial Services and Smart Money Group LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by Calton and Associates Incorporated.